So, welcome to another episode of IPL Team Analysis. Today, I have with me Mr. Adreeto Sengupta, who is an avid cricket follower and has been following cricket for a very long time, especially Indian cricket. And today, we would be analyzing the IPL team of RCB, the Royal Challengers Bangalore. So, this has been a team that has played all the seasons of the IPL but has never been able to lift the trophy. They've had the likes of Virat Kohli. Now they have Aaron Finch. They've had AB de Villiers. They've had Chris Gayle, Kevin Peterson, Jacques Callis, Ross Taylor, Dale Steyn, Zahir Khan, and whatnot. But still, they've not been able to, cross the line. So how do you look at that? The fact that they've had such amazing talent over the years, but they've played three finals as well, but they've never been able to actually cross the line. How do you look at it?
First of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing very good. Thank you.
All right, good to know that. Just coming back to your question now. So if you have been seeing the RCB squad for ever since the inauguration of IPL, yes, I totally agree with your point that the squad has been really great and there have been great names, especially Zahir Khan and then Virat Kohli and Anil Kumble. And not to forget Anil Kumble, he led IPL into RCB into one of the IPL finals in 2009.
Yeah.
And apart from that, yes, there have been other great players like Chris Gayle and also um, Moeen Ali and everybody. But in spite of that, yes, they haven't been able to lift a trophy. Now, the whole challenge with RCB has been the dependency on just a few players. I mean, if you have seen until 2016, when Chris Gayle was in his prime form, I mean, after 2016, Chris Gayle's form dipped a bit. The dependency was only on Chris Gayle, and yes, to a certain extent on Virat Kohli and AB de Villiers. But if you see the matches wherein they have performed till 2016, if you pull that record, then you would always find that with those matches, wherever Chris Gayle has given a start, RCB has gone on to win that match. Whenever Chris Gayle has failed, especially I remember the 2011 finals.
Right.
It was
CSK.
between RCB and Chennai Super Kings. Yes.
Yeah.
Chris Gayle was in his prime form, and unfortunately, he was dismissed very early in the finals by Ravichandran Ashwin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then that's why they lost the game. So, the dependency on just one or two players has been a lot. Yeah, I mean, if they click, RCB goes on to win. So, and that's one point. And the second reason, what I also feel is the lack of Indian batting talent. And because in each of these squads, you can just play 4 overseas players. And if you have only overseas batting talent, then you won't be able to accommodate them in this squad, in the play 11. So it's very important for RCB to have that kind of a batting talent, especially Indian batting talent. And they have got Indian bowling talent over the years, especially Zahir Khan, Anil Kumble, and they had Umesh Yadav, RP Singh. So they had Indian bowling talent, even Yuzi Chahal. But it's got to do with the batting talent, wherein RCB has been struggling, and Indian batting talent. So these are the two prime reasons as to why RCB hasn't fared well for all these years.
Yeah, and
So
what
that's
we've
my
also observed, you might have observed as well over the years, is the fact that a lot of Indian batsmen, a lot of uncapped Indians who have played for RCB, because they've been overshadowed by the likes of Chris Gayle, AB de Villiers, and Virat Kohli, they've not been able to shine. They've not been able to show their true character, their true ability. While when we see them playing for other franchises, we see them actually doing very well. The likes of Mandeep Singh, the likes of Sarfaraz Khan. So,
exactly.
and many more. I don't remember the names right now, but
even Bhuvaneshwar Kumar.
Yeah, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. I think he didn't play a single game for 2 seasons where
I think
he was in
he
RCB.
played 1 or 2 games. I think 2 games he played.
Okay.
But he was a regular feature for. He's been a regular feature for Sunrisers and also for Pune Warriors.
Pune Warriors. Yeah. So
Did for a short time.
Yeah. So even the likes of Shane Watson, because they've always had these 4 foreigners that have played for them over the years, which has always had two slots completely filled by AB de Villiers and Chris Gayle. And
Yes.
for most of the initial part of their campaign, it was one of the third slot was probably filled by Tilakaratne Dilshan. So there was just the
Mhm.
option of one more foreigner, which used to be a Ravi Rampal or some other foreign bowler that they had.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
that probably made things much more difficult for Shane Watson when he came in, because he was probably doing very well. He could have probably done much better opening the batting as he did for CSK, but he was made to bat at number 5 and number 6 at RCB. So we again missed to see the best of Shane Watson there.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. And yes, the Shane Watson. There have been many players. I mean, who have been overshadowed by these few big names. Uh, yeah, although those big names have been the reason for their success, whatever success RCB has got till now. But yes, it's very important because the whole idea of IPL is to encourage Indian talent, and that is what is has been missing
Right.
over the past few years. Although they had, I mean, there have been glimpses of some performances like Sarfaraz Ahmed was there at one point of time. I think he's still there in the squad, and then Mayank Agarwal was there.
Yeah.
So there have been glimpses, but not they haven't been performing on a regular basis. So it's very critical for RCB to look into this aspect of
Right.
having Indian talent.
Right.
Probably the think tank can come, and now the hopes are on because Simon Katich has come into this arena, and Simon Katich has got a good record with in the Big Bash League as a coach. So and he also had a good stint with KKR last
Right.
year. So probably he can spot some good spark or good talent in few of the players.
Right.
So that's my expectation from RCB this time around.
Yeah, and
So
when you
I'm
look at the way they've strategized their purchases and their trades this year, it looks like they're trying to balance out the squad. They're trying to bring in the experienced and the raw talent, and now they're actually
hmm,
mixing it up to bring that balance to the playing 11s, which was somewhere missing in the initial part of their campaign. So when we look at the purchases, we see that they've bought Aaron Finch for a whopping 4.4 crore. They've bought
hmm.
Chris Morris, the South African all-rounder, for a whopping 10 crore, which is again an indication that he might be filling that role of playing at that number 7 or number 8 slot, where he could probably
Mhm,
finish off games and also bowl a complete quota of 4 overs, probably.
mhm, mhm,
But what was also interesting is the fact that they bought in Dale Steyn again. They released Dale Steyn and they bought him
mhm,
again for at probably the base price of 2 crores. And
mhm.
they bought Kane Richardson for 4 crores, and they've also bought a few uncapped players. So, how do you look at these purchases? Specifically Aaron Finch at the top, Chris Morris, and Dale Steyn.
Yeah. So starting with Dale Steyn. So if you look at Dale Steyn, yeah, it was a last moment buy for RCB. I was just going, watching the options as well. I always do that every year if I get time, and depends on the depends on my ability as well. But yes, so I was just viewing it, and yeah, it was interesting to see Dale Steyn coming back because Dale Steyn has already retired from the South African cricket team, and to although we have seen how Jimmy Anderson is performing even at the age of 38, so so age is just a number. But at the end of the day, what I feel is that Dale Steyn would be fulfill filling up the mentor's role uh, as a bowling mentor or bowling consultant. With due regards to him, I mean, there is nothing against him, but yes, I would see. I don't see him in the playing 11, but yes, it's a good buy because considering the current situation, many of the players might not be, they might not be willing to travel and might not be available due to the current pandemic. Yeah, so probably Dale can be available in that scenario, and I mean he can be used as a backup bowler, and so it's a very interesting move, but at the same time it can be useful because I don't see him playing all the matches, but few of the matches. and also provide some tips to the new Indian bowling talent, especially Mohammad Siraj and Umesh Yadav also. They're not new Indian, but yeah, Indian
Yeah.
bowlers who are there. And coming back to the other buy which you just mentioned is of Chris Morris. Chris Morris surprised me a bit because at the age of 33, although he's a good bowler, but I would have loved to see some young bowler in place of Chris Morris. Um, Somebody like what's his name? Harry Gunny, who has, who has already who is already skipping IPL, who has already informed KKR that he's skipping IPL. Some sort of a bowler like that, and who can also fulfill the all-rounders place. So I would have loved to see that. But having said that, if you see the trump card in these purchases is what I feel is going to be another buy, and who can be an underdog is Isuru Dana.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Because I have seen glimpses of Isuru Dana in when he plays for Sri Lanka, and especially in the T20 and one day format. So he can produce. He can also be used as an opener if he wants to, if RCB wants to, because he can give those quick starts and he can uh, hit the ball right outside the stadium as well. Hit some good sixes, and and also he's a left armer, so that can be an added advantage. So he can be a good buy and a player who can fetch a good value for the money.
Right.
So it's a
Right.
Rudana. And also, of course, Kane Richardson is there. He's an experienced campaigner in this format. So these are the two overseas players whom I feel will be very useful. Aaron Finch, we have to wait for his availability as well, because he is, first of all, he's going to play against England, the limited overs series which is happening. And when he comes back, he will be giving two options. Of course, his batting is there to be seen. He can be used as an opener, although I won't prefer him as an opener. I would prefer him at number 3. And yes, he can also be choice for the captain.
Aaron Finch.
Yeah, because
Okay.
he's already leading the Australian national side.
Australian side.
So
Right.
he can be a choice for the captain.
Right.
So I would place my bets on Isuru Dana in amongst all these players.
Okay. Okay.
So
So yeah,
that's
I
my
think
take on all these purchases.
I too was quite surprised looking at Chris Morris being purchased for a whopping 10 crore, because somewhere if you see RCB's bowling lineup, since the time they've actually given away Mitchell Stark, I don't think they've had that kind of an intimidating bowler, foreign bowler who other batsmen will actually fear. So they could have tried the likes of Kagiso Rabada or Jofra Archer when they were available, but now they've invested in Chris Morris. Let's see how he goes. But yes, I do understand the fact that at 33 he might not be at the top of his form. He might not be at the top of his game. So also, I don't think he might be able to play all the 14 games.
Yeah, probably that is absolutely true. He might not be able to.
Yeah,
He can be used in some of the games, like around 4 to 5 games. But
right.
again, there is another thing with due to which probably the um, franchisee has purchased him is that he might be available as well.
Right, right. Yeah, that could be
So
one very big factor.
yeah, because at the end of the day, that is a big thing which we need to see in amongst all the franchises, and
Right.
especially at this point of time. So
Yeah.
he should be available for this season.
So given the
That's my
fact
take.
that, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead. Sorry about that.
So I'm saying that given the fact that, RCB has chosen Dubai as their home as of now, which might eventually change to Sharjah. But in case they happen to have matches in Dubai itself, or even if in
Mm.
Sharjah, what would be the
Mm.
playing 11s that you feel can actually be, the best probable 11s from this whole squad?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I mean, because I was tempted to pick all the overseas players, but at the same time, I had to. In fact, I was tempted to pick all the 4 to 5 overseas batsmen, but just to accommodate just 4 of them. So I had to create a balance in that. And Dubai, we have seen the stadium as more suited to spin bowling a lot.
Right,
So. Um, so in that department, RCB has got an advantage,
right,
and so I have added that balance as well into my squad, into my playing 11. So if we talk about the openers first, so
yeah,
I was tempted to pick Aaron Finch as an opener, but as I just mentioned earlier, so I would be picking him as the number 3 slot. So I would open the innings with Parthiv Patel and the skipper Virat Kohli.
right,
So these are my 2 openers. And Partha Patel, uh, I mean, the kind of experience he has and the kind of starts which he gives. Yes, age might not be on his side, but at the same time, even then, he can still manage to score 30 to 40 quick runs. And he has done it in the Ranji Trophy this time round. I mean, he was having a very good Ranji season. And although he has been in and out of the national side, but having said that, his experience will be there on the table, and he will bring all his experience there. So Parthiv Patel to me is going to be the opener slot, uh, and partnering him would be Virat Kohli, because Virat Kohli can do 2 things. He can definitely play those beautiful cover drives and hit those sixes and take the team off to a flyer. But at the same time, he can also play that sheet anchor role, which is also required at times.
right,
Depending on the condition, and it's of course his experience. Although he is off late, we have seen that when during the international T20, he has been skipping international T20s, but at the same time, he is still forced to reckon with in
right.
T20 in the T20 format. So that is my opening slot. Then, if you come down to number 3, I would go on with Aaron Finch.
Okay,
And
okay,
so, so because in case, let's say, for example, if Parthiv Patel is dismissed initially or Virat Kohli is dismissed initially, then Aaron Finch can also give that quick 30 or 40 runs or maybe a quick half century,
right,
which can add up to the total. So he can fulfill the things which Chris Gale used to do at one point of time. I mean, although
exactly.
he
Yeah,
is not as devastating as Chris Gale, but yeah, even if he can produce at least 10% of his game, that would be enough for RCB. So that
absolutely.
is my
Yes.
number 3. That is my number 3. Number 4, I've gone on with the Sri Lankan all-rounder, Isuru Rana.
Okay, yeah, as you
And
mentioned.
he's going to be one of the all-rounders. And he is a left-arm bowler, and also he can produce those quick innings. So he's going to be my number 4. I mean, it's just a gamble which I'm taking. And but yes, he's going to be my number 4. Number 5, I have. I was having a bit confusion whether to take AB de Villiers or whether to go on with some other overseas player. So I've gone on with another overseas players, and as I just mentioned, Dubai can be a spin-friendly track.
Yeah.
Uh, so I so I have picked up Moeen Ali.
Okay, okay,
Uh,
right.
so he is an all-rounder as well, and he is also a left-hander batsman.
Yeah, yeah,
So because if so, he will be have giving that combination, left and right hand combination in the middle order, and also his pair of spin can come into play. And of course, he won't be the premier bowler because he would need to partner Yuzi Chahal and other spinners. And number 6, I have gone on with Gurpreet Singh.
right. Yeah. He's again
So
probably one of the unexplored or one of the very talented batsmen whose best we are probably yet to see in the IPL.
exactly, yeah, he has been a part of squads, but not a regular feature. So hopefully he can be. I mean, in this entire IPL, I would love to see not only Gurpreet Singh but also uh, players like Shubman Gill and other players to come out with flying pass with flying colors,
Right.
because this is going to be the stepping stone to get into the Indian team. So Gurpreet can be that uh, that underdog who can perform for RCB. So I would love to see Gurpreet Singh. Yes, he can be pushed up the order, but I feel he can be suited for number six. Number seven, well, I had to pick an Indian talent again, and I was watching the Ranji Trophy this time around a little bit, not watching exactly, but following it.
Yeah.
And one of the player who caught my attraction was this lad from Kerala, Devdutt Padikkal.
Yes. Yes. He's been
So
amazing.
probably, yeah, he has been amazing throughout the RNG season. So probably this can also be a learning curve for him to share the dressing room alongside AB de Villiers, Virat Kohli. So he can get to learn a lot of new things, and also he can play in the 11. In my playing 11 at least. I don't know about the selected persons. So these are the batsmen. If I talk about the bowlers, so I've gone on with two spinners because Moeen Ali is going to do my third spinner's job. And the two spinners whom I picked up is Pawan Negi and Yuzi Chahal.
Right.
So these are the two spinners because Yuzi Chahal, we all know what he can do on his day.
Yeah. Yeah.
He can go for 50 runs in 4 overs, and he can also take 6 wickets in an innings, and we have seen him doing it in the past. So he has been a go-to bowler for Virat Kohli. Whenever there is a partnership, Virat Kohli has always depended on him to take that partnership. So Yuzi Chahal and Pawan Negi because he's a left armer. So again in spin also there will be a left hand right hand combination. So which is
Right.
going to trouble most of the batsmen. And so these are the two spinners whom I've gone on with, and the fast bowlers I've gone on with one overseas and one Indian whom I've gone on with is Mohammad Siraj. Although he has been given chances in the Indian team wherein he hasn't fared well. But yeah, in IPL and in other domestic leagues, he has done exceptionally well. So Mohammad Siraj is one of them, and the other one is Kane Richardson because of his experience, and he has been performing quite well for Australia and other domestic T20 franchises. We have seen. So this is my playing 11. I had to keep in a little bit of balance because of the criteria of overseas players. Was tempted to pick up all the overseas players, but just had to get in some young Indian talent. So looking forward to two names in this particular 11 is Gurpreet Singh and Devdutt Padikkal. So hopefully these two names should do something in this particular idea. So
Right.
that's my 11 forward.
Yeah. So the 11 that I would probably play, is I would open with Aaron Finch and Virat Kohli because I would not really play Parthiv Patel, though I really like the way he has been opening the innings for RCB in the last few years. But just because they've got a bit too many good players, I feel this year it might be difficult for Parthiv Patel. So I would go with Virat Kohli and Aaron
Mhm.
Finch because I want Kohli to play, to open and get those 20 overs to play because I do feel that he can score hundreds when he opens the innings. And Aaron Finch, of course, the Australian captain, he's very good at the top. At number three, I would play AB de Villiers because he's another player I really want who should bat a lot of overs. So I want him to bat those 16, 17 overs or at least 15 overs. At
Mhm.
number four, I would play Moeen Ali, the
Mhm.
left-handed batsman from England, who will also chip in with his off spin in the mid overs. And we could probably also see Moeen Ali opening the bowling at times. Given that he's a finger spinner, so
Mhm.
once So in the pitches of Dubai or Sharjah, we might see him open the bowling as well. At number five, I would play Gurkirat Singh, as you pointed out, that he has a lot of talent and he's someone who can do a lot. So I would want him to bat at number five to get that extra time to actually probably stay there for some time, and then go for the big shots. At number 6, I would play Shivam Dubey, who did probably have a good breakout to the Indian team, but then somewhere he lost his way.
Mm.
And once Hardik Pandya came back, Shivam Dubey was nowhere to be found. But I do see a lot of potential in him, though he has to probably work on his bowling a lot more. But he has that ability to hit those
Mm.
big hits. And we've seen in domestic tournaments how he's done. So I would want to see him
Mm.
at number 6. Or maybe if they want to play Dubey at number 5 and Gurkirat at number 6, it doesn't really matter because they are similar batsmen. At number 7, I've put either of Washington Sundar or Pawan Negi, which would probably be decided on the basis of how many left-handers or right-handers the opposition has. So, in case there are more
Mm.
left-handers, the team might go with Washington Sundar, who's a right-arm off-spin bowler. While if the other team has more of right-handers, they might go with Pawan Negi. At number 8, I've put Chris Morris, because I feel that if they've invested 10 crores on him, so they might want to
Mm.
start with him, if not be able to play him for uh, a lot of matches, but they might want to start with Chris Morris. So given that they've spent 10 crores on him, and they do have Kane Richardson and Dale Steyn, as you pointed out, so they are probably the backup options for Chris Morris. But on the flip side, Dale Steyn and Kane Richardson do not really offer that option to hit the ball. They don't have that batting ability that Chris Morris carries with himself. So in that case, they might lose out on one batsman, one finisher in the
Mm.
end. However, then at number 9, I would say Yuzi Chahal. As you said, he's the premier spinner for India right now, probably the best spinner in the country, and who has the ability to do well in all kinds of wickets. So Yuzi Chahal at number 9, followed by two fast bowlers. So my first choice fast bowlers would be Umesh Yadav and Navdeep Saini, with Mohammad Siraj probably as the third fast bowler who could be a backup for either of the two. And this is the team that I would probably play. So as we were discussing, the fact that Dale Steyn will probably not be a person who will be seen at the forefront too often, who might not get a lot of games, but he will have that pivotal role to play, from behind the scenes as probably the bowling coach or the bowling mentor. So the team looks solid. I think they've this time they have a strong core, a solid core of uncapped players as well as players who played for India and international players, and we can probably expect a lot more from them this year. But looking at the way they have been performing over the last 12 years, the fact that they've reached the finals thrice, but they've not been able to win it even once. So how much do you see, as far as winnability is concerned, do you think this team can make it to the top four, number one? And in case they make it to number 3 or 4, how good are the chances for them to get to the final and therefore, in the end, win it?
Yeah, so I think they have got a very good chance this time around, considering the fact they have got Virat Kohli, who is soon going to be a father. Probably that can bring him an extra luck, which he needs. And so the year has begun on a positive note for him. So probably that can be seen here, that can be reflected on his performance. Having said that, yes, they have quite a balanced team this time around. But yes, the only thing which they have to take care of is over dependency on few players. And if they can sort that out, they should make it to the top four. Um, this time, at least they can should make it to top four. I would be very skeptic about them making it to the finals, but at least top four can be this time now. And we desperately want to see RCB getting in the top four because they have the potential in them. So
Yeah,
I would
because
rate
I
them.
think every Indian actually wants to see the Indian captain, the international captain of India, Virat Kohli, to lift the trophy, which has not happened so far. And looking at the squad, AB de Villiers is someone people might not have a lot of expectations from this year, given his that age is not by his side, and he's not had a very good domestic season overall. But looking at the others, specifically Virat Kohli, his experience, and if Aaron Finch gets to play a major part of the tournament, he can, of course, do a lot of damage to the opposition. So, and there are good options down the order as well. Moeen Ali is someone who can really smash the ball, who can play at strike rates of 200 plus. However, what I do feel is lacking in the team is somewhere the experience of playing out innings. The ability to actually stitch partnerships, because the pitches in UAE are expected to be the slow wickets. So we need people who can, on a certain day, if the team is in 5 overs, if they are 28 for two, we need two people who can actually take it from there up till maybe something like 105 for three in 15 overs or so. So they have to bat those 10 overs and play at 7 and over, and also build a good partnership. So that is something I think is somewhere lacking, because Moeen Ali lacks that ability. AB de Villiers might have that ability, but we'll have to see how much he's able to do that. But down the order, there's not a lot of options who can do that, which might be really important as far as UAE's pitches are concerned.
Exactly. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, that's the reason why I don't see AB de Villiers making it to the 11, because that is what the 11
Okay.
which I have considered,
Hmm.
because of the same reason, the thing which you just mentioned, his age is absolutely not on his side. Um, Maybe he can get few games, just like his other South African teammate, Dale Steyn. So he might get a few games, but I don't see him in the forefront this time around, because he
Right.
has been away from cricket, and I mean it's a very pretty challenging when you are away from cricket for quite a while and then suddenly make it, to the internationals forefront, and especially a big tournament like IPL. So I would definitely go on with Moeen Ali, and just hoping that Moeen Ali does something on this in this particular IPL, provided he's available to play, because England is also having a hectic tight schedule, and if he is allowed or if he is available to play. So it will be a great thing for RCB to get the services of Aaron Finch and Moeen Ali for a longer time period frame. And yes, and all eyes on the Indian talents. So hopefully RCB can bring in some of the Indian talent to the forefront. So that is how RCB has tried to balance the side. But yes, as I just mentioned, it has to be a collective effort rather than an over dependency on just one or two players, which has been their scenario in the past seasons.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
the,
I think so. As you pointed out, AB de Villiers might be playing that role of the batting coach or the batting mentor somewhere. So we see that
yeah.
two South Africans bought for hefty prices might just be, sitting out and helping the
Yeah.
team formulate their
But
plans.
yeah, on the positive side, I mean, Gurpreet Singh, as somebody like Gurpreet Singh, or somebody like Devdutt, what's his name? Yeah. So the young lad from Kerala, he can learn from them, and uh, you know try to apply those things in the international arena. So it will be a good learning curve for the youngsters as well, to share dressing room with Dale Steyn and AB de Villiers, and to get to learn from. So yeah, probably they have one or two of the extra coaches in our CV11. But yes, having said that, on their day they can also be a force to reckon with.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. So while I do see AB de Villiers playing most of the matches, unlike you feel that he might not get to play all the matches, but I think we'll have to see. But one thing that really left me startled is the fact that they let Marcus Stoinis go, because Marcus Stoinis had been pretty
Yeah,
good for them, and he was, of
exactly.
course, they didn't know that this time the IPL would be in the UAE, but he has that slower ball. He has that option of bowling very slow and wicket to wicket, which can be really good on the slow wickets of UAE. And as far as batting is also concerned, I think he has the ability to stitch partnerships as well as hit big in the end. So he's one player who they will really miss, is what I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. They will miss Marcus Stoinis, and but yeah, the only thing is that where would they have accommodated Marcus Stoinis? That is also another question, because he can only play for foreign overseas players, and that's one thing. Secondly, uh, the positive point is that there's a mid-season transfer which also happens. So probably they can trade in some players during that time,
Yeah.
depending on their performance.
Yeah, that'll be
So I
interesting to
mean,
see.
yeah,
Cricket going the football way somewhat, and let's see
absolutely.
how it goes. Yeah,
Absolutely. So chances are there. So let's hope that RCB does something this time around. So bring a smile on their fans' faces,
absolutely.
which
Yes,
which has been missing for quite a long time.
yes, yes. So thank you so much for joining me today, and we
Thank you
shall
so
meet
much.
soon to analyze some other IPL team.